Hi everyone, welcome to Living a Balanced Life with Julio. My name is Julia Opoku. I'm a registered nurse and a diabetes educator. On today's episode, we're going to dive into what pre-diabetes is. Or have your doctor warned you that your sugar is getting too high? Have you been told that you have borderline diabetes? What is it? What should I do? Does that mean I have diabetes? On today's episode, we're going to answer all those questions and give you some tips that can help your body from going from pre-diabetes or borderline state into type 2, full-blown type 2 diabetes. If you're interested, please stay with me. So what is pre-diabetes or borderline diabetes? Pre-diabetes is the condition before type 2 diabetes. It's along the same line as type 2 diabetes. So you go from borderline diabetes or pre-diabetes to type 2 diabetes. And pre-diabetes is a condition that where your body is starting not to make enough insulin as you put foods that have natural sugar in your body. So foods that have natural sugar includes all our grains and starches, all our fruits and all our milk product. All of these have natural sugar in them. So when it goes in our body digests it into or break it down into glucose, which is sugar. And then once we eat, the sugar level goes up, and that's expected to go high because that's what we put in our body. But what's supposed to happen is that there's an organ in our body called the pancreas, and the pancreas' job is to take the sugar that's sitting in our blood from the food and move it into our cells so we can use it as energy. So sugar is our energy, and insulin is a hormone, and its job is to act as a transporter of sugar into our cells so we can use it. So when your doctor tells you that your sugar is borderline or is getting too high, it just means that you don't have type 2 diabetes yet, but your body is starting to develop some complications where your body is not producing enough insulin to deal with whatever sugar load that you put in your body. So what are some things that can put a person at risk of getting pre-diabetes? So just like type 2 diabetes, pre-diabetes risk factors include people being over age of 40, that increases your risk. Having a family member that has type 2 diabetes increases your risk. If you're a woman and you're diagnosed with gestational diabetes while you were pregnant, it increases your risk, of course, of getting pre-diabetes and then getting type 2 diabetes later along the line. If you're a person that belongs in the high risk population, so people of African descent, Asian descent, all have a higher risk of getting pre-diabetes, which can move into type 2 diabetes. So these are some of the risk factors. Also, people that are obese. So if you are obese, or if you're someone that carries most of your weight in your abdomen, so people that has large waist circumference have a high chance of getting pre-diabetes. People that are inactive, so if you're someone that do not do any kind of exercise, it increases your risk of getting pre-diabetes. If you're someone that consume or eat a lot of high sugary foods and high sugary drinks, that could, in combination with other risk factors, can push your chance and increase your risk of getting pre-diabetes, which, if not taken care of, can move into type 2 diabetes. So pre-diabetes is not type 2 diabetes. So when you're diagnosed with pre-diabetes, it's almost like your body's warning you that be careful, your body is moving to a state where you can get diabetes. So pre-diabetes is a condition before type 2 diabetes. And so some of the things that you can use to prevent pre-diabetes or manage pre-diabetes is the same things that you do when you have type 2 diabetes. So some of the things that you can use to improve, of course, prevent yourself from going from pre-diabetes state to type 2 diabetes is, of course, making sure that you're watching the foods, right? Because I talked about 3 different types of food that has natural sugar, right? So that's the type of food that we have to watch the amount. So that's all your grains and starches, all your fruits, and all your milk products, right? Doesn't mean you can't eat those food. Of course you can. That's our energy food. We need them, but we need them in small quantities. So we don't need large amounts. So for example, if you're someone that likes to eat rice or pasta, right? Sticking to about a cup. So any grains and starches that you can measure, if you stick to about 1 cup of that cooked meal, or if you stick the size of your fist, that's about how much you should be eating per meal. So that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So per meal, if you like rice or pasta, potatoes, all of that, stick to about the size of your fist, right? Same thing with fruits. Fruits have natural sugar. They're very good for us. They have fibers and minerals. It helps nourish our body, but we need to watch how much of that we're eating, right? So, and how much we're eating at one time. So fruits, you're allowed to have 3 fruits in a day, right? So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or some people can save it as snacks in between their meals. But stick to about the size of your fist of any fruit that you like, whether it tastes sweet or not. Stick to about the size of your fist. Of course, some of the fruits that are very high in fiber, you can have a little bit more of it, right? So we'll get into that later, but making sure that you're eating fruits, but you're spacing them out with your breakfast, lunch, and dinner is important. If you are going to drink anything with your meal, the best fluid is water, because it doesn't have any calories, and it's what your body needs, right? So avoiding high sugary drinks, because when you drink, let's say a can of pop, you're putting so much sugar in your body, plus you're eating on top of it. So then the sugar load is too much for your body to handle. So that's when your body start not making enough insulin, because it can't make enough insulin to deal with the sugar load that you put in your body, right? So after some of the insulin has released and put some of the sugar away, you still have a lot more sugar, more than the normal in your bloodstream. So, and that's not good for us, whether it's a little bit over it or whether it's diabetes, right? Because our body can start to develop complications. So making sure we're eating a balanced meal is very important to prevent pre-diabetes. For vegetables, making sure that half of your plate is vegetables, any type of vegetables you like. Of course, mix the colors so you get all the different benefit of different nutrients in different vegetables. Your grains and starches to be about a quarter of your plate, so about the size of your fist. And then you have your protein. Protein, you get it from plant source or from animal source. Protein from plant source, of course, is the best for you. Why? Because it has a lot of fiber, and fiber help our body slow down how it's breaking those sugary food into turning it into sugar, right? So protein help us stay full longer, especially if it's plant protein, because it has the fiber. Of course, animal protein, not saying you can't have that, you can have that, but stick to lean protein, meaning protein that have less fat in it, right? So if you're going to have any meat, stick to about the palm of your hand. So this should be how big your meat should be, with the thickness of your pinky, right? So about this thick and that much per meal. That's all you need, right? Because we need to watch the amount so we don't overwhelm our body. So it has to work very hard to deal with the sugar load and all that's in the food, right? So that's the, now of course you can have your fruit like I talk about, and then your milk product. Milk product, about 2 to 3 servings per day is recommended. Of course, milk product or like yogurt milk have natural sugar in them, so of course you stick to about a cup, because it's how you're placing the meal together. You want to make sure you're getting each balance, but not to overdo it where the sugary food are too much, because then your body can handle all the sugar load. So that's one way. So watching the food we eat is very important for preventing pre-diabetes from going to type 2 diabetes. Another way is exercise. When you're exercising, like I talk about, when you exercise, you're using the sugar, which is the energy, right? So when you're exercising, we need energy to exercise. When we're moving, we need energy to move. The more we move, the more energy we use. Therefore, the more sugar will burn when we are exercising. So when we're exercising, our sugar can come into target, meaning it will come into the norm of what it's supposed to be. So the more exercise you do, the better your blood sugar becomes, right? So exercising is very important. And exercise, for it to count as exercise, it has to be in 10-minute block, right? So walking counts. So aerobics exercise includes swimming, walking, dancing, going for a walk in the snow, mowing the lawn. If like all of that counts as exercise, right? But for it to count towards your exercise goal, it has to be in 10-minute block. And Health Canada recommend 150 minutes of aerobics exercise per week. So if you do 10 minutes exercise twice a day, you're getting 20 minutes. 7 days a week, you meet your minimum. Of course, if you do 30 minutes, 5 days a week, you meet your minimum. The goal is to prevent your body from going from the pre-diabetes state to type 2 diabetes, right? So exercise, very important. Another way of making sure that we prevent ourselves from getting diabetes is making sure we are de-stressing. Stress can move us from pre-diabetes state to diabetes state very quickly, because when we're under stress, what happens? Whenever we're under stress, our body gives us the energy to deal with the stress. And like I said earlier, what's our energy? Sugar, right? So when your body is under stress, your body releases a lot of sugar into your bloodstream, and that sugar, even though it's from inside your body, it's still harmful for you, because our body has to work in a balance. The minute the balance is tipped off, you're going to start to form diseases, right? So making sure that we're controlling our stress doesn't mean that we're not going to have stress. Comes and go, life happens, but make sure whatever helps you de-stress, you do. So it could be, making sure that you're sleeping on time, making sure that you're getting your exercise, a good way to de-stress, making sure that some people reading, talking to someone, meditating, calming the mind, all are ways to de-stress. And then if that doesn't work, you can speak to a professional that's trained in that area, and that area is their expertise, like a social worker or a psych nurse or a social worker or a psychologist. Those are all, they're all trained to help you, give you stress management strategies that can help you de-stress to prevent yourself from getting going from prediabetes to diabetes. Most people that develop prediabetes, most of the time, in my experience, they have a lot of stress, and stress is not good for us if it becomes chronic. So managing your stress is a very important pillar of making sure that you prevent yourself from getting diabetes along the line. Of course, another thing is losing weight. So when, like I said earlier, if you carry our weight around our abdomen, right, what our abdomen or the mid areas where our vital organs are. So when you have a lot of fat there, all the fat is coating all the vital organs. That means it doesn't work as properly as they're supposed to, right? So it causes insulin resistance, meaning that even though your body is producing insulin, the insulin that your body is producing is not able to work properly, right? Because insulin works as a key to open the cells of your the door of your cells so your body can use the sugar. When you have insulin resistance, it's like there's something blocking that door. So the insulin, the sugar cannot get into the cells for you to use. So what happens? Our blood sugar tends to be really high. So making sure that we lose weight, and especially we lose inches around our abdomen, is a good way to make sure that we are preventing insulin resistance, which can cause high sugars, can lead to prediabetes, and then full-blown type 2 diabetes if we're not able to manage it. Having said all of this, of course, medication for some people are needed. So if you're diagnosed with prediabetes and you don't have any cardiac disease or heart disease or hypertension or anything, or high cholesterol, then usually what you manage it is what I spoke about. Exercise, managing your stress, making sure that you're eating healthy and losing a little bit of weight if you have weight to lose. If that doesn't work, or if you're someone that have all of this plus cardiovascular disease, so you have hypertension or high cholesterol, all of that, your doctor might put you on medication, because having high sugars combined with any kind of cardiovascular disease puts you at a greater risk of having heart attacks and strokes and all of that, right? So sometimes people have prediabetes, but they could still be put on certain medication to help move the insulin resistance, so reduce the insulin resistance, so the insulin start to work better, and to help curb the appetite and help improve your the sensitivity of insulin in your cells, so you can use up sugar better, right? So sometimes medication is needed for those people that have prediabetes plus another comorbidity like a cardiovascular disease. So if you have prediabetes and a doctor starts you on medication, it's not because you're not doing all the right things. As long as you're exercising, you're eating healthy, you're managing your stress, making sure that if you need to lose weight, you're working on it, all of that helps. But sometimes medication is needed to help you move your body from the complicated state, because when you have prediabetes, you can still start to develop complications, and complication can be the eye disease, the kidney disease, the nerve damages, and all of that, right? So the higher the sugar gets, the more you move towards the complications of diabetes, right? So that's prediabetes. It's the condition before type 2 diabetes, and it's preventable and it's manageable, and making sure that you're including some of these tips: eating healthy, making sure you're eating a balanced diet, avoid drinking any sugary drinks, so making sure water is the only fluid that you're putting in your body, managing your stress, exercising, losing a little bit of weight, so losing about 5 to 10% of your current body weight is a good way to prevent yourself from going from pre-diabetes to full-blown type 2 diabetes. So that's some tips to help you. If you have any questions, please let me know. Put it in the comment section below. Let me know. We're going to be doing a series. So today is pre-diabetes. The next time we'll talk about what type 2 diabetes is and the different types of diabetes, and what are some of the medications or some of the tips or some of the lifestyle management we can use to improve our health. Or if you do have diabetes, what you do to prevent complications, which is the main goal of diabetes management, is prevent complications. So until next time, take care. Include some of these tips into your daily routine. If you don't have pre-diabetes yet, that's great news. That means starting some of these lifestyle habits will help you. If you've been told you have pre-diabetes, include some of these tips that will help you prevent yourself from getting type 2 diabetes. And if you already have diabetes, it's the same things that you do, right? So making sure that you're watching what you eat and doing exercising and all of that, so you can help your body achieve the balance and improve your health as we're all trying to achieve. So until next time, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, share this video on any platform that you belong to with your friends and and family so we can all work to live a healthy, balanced life. Until next time, take care.
Exclusive.